All right. Welcome back, party of people. Oh, you know what, Boston Base? I finally just saw what you were saying. Ready? Here you go. Here you go, Boston Base. Let's see. Whoa, there we go. I apologize, but my monitor, I guess it was getting in the way, and I thought Boston Base was just on drugs, if we're being honest. But see, there's the monitor. Yeah, let's bring it on down. Bring it on down to Monitorville. All right. Is it still you're catching a little bit of it there? Yeah, you're still catching a little bit. There we go. All right. Enough of that. Enough of that. Welcome back. We are live before lock. For those of you tuning in to the first time that we've done a playoff version of live before lock, the way this is going to work, we're going to go over tonight's games. Then we're going to go over tomorrow's games, and then we're going to get out of here. So that's it. So we'll do for this week. What we're going to be doing. We'll do a show today. We're going to do a show Wednesday and a show Friday. So Wednesday we'll cover Wednesday and Thursday. Friday we'll cover Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll fire this up 3 times a week as long as the playoff chase, the championship chase, whatever the hell we're calling it, continues over there on Sorare NBA. Just want to shout out one thing here. We've got another $5 contest over on Splash Sports. I've got that link pinned into the chitty chat. Go join us. I think we got 40 some odd people on over there for tonight's contest thus far. I bet we hit 60. That's usually the number we've been hitting these days. But yeah, let's get into it. So we get 2 games tonight, and then we get 2 games tomorrow. But the biggest news that we just got, literally breaking news, Chris Haynes just tweeted out, Damian Lillard, for the first time in a while, has been upgraded to the Q tag, questionable, QAnon. Damian Lillard is questionable for game 2. I don't know if you can play him. I'm just going to start with that, and we can talk about it a little bit more when we get to Bucks Pacers for tomorrow. I'm a little bit nervous that when he comes back, he's going to be a little bit limited. I don't know if his minutes will be limited, but physically might be a little bit limited for where his cap is going to be. But we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get there, shall we? But if you're just joining us for the first time, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's go. Let's get into this. Let's start over on ESPN NBA. We can look at some of these odds and lines and all that fun stuff before we dive into the projections from our guys over at Top Tier. So tonight we've got the second game of the Bing Bong Boys of the New York Knicks and the Detroit Basketball Pistons. Knicks right now are favored by 6.5. It opened at 4.5. This probably settles at 5.5. We get an over/under of 221.5. On the Clippers Nuggets side of things, the Clippers are actually favored on the road, game 2, by 1.5 points here with an over/under at 218.5. I guess let's start with Knicks and Pistons here for tonight's slate, anyways. And I think one of the interesting things that I was actually surprised about with game 1 is that Deuce McBride has been, deuced out of the rotation for the most part. They definitely went to campaign. They feel a little bit more comfortable with his postseason acumen. So it seems like Scammy Payne seems to be a better play on the Knicks side of things than Deuce McBride. The other thing we should point out, ready? You're not going to see this, but I'm going to go over to the box score over on the Worldwide Leader from Saturday's game. The Knicks minutes weren't nearly as crazy as they were that you would think from Thibodeau. Like, I don't know if Thibodeau went to therapy, betterhelp.com. I don't know what it was, but if we look at some of these minutes from Saturday's game and their 123-112 win, ready for this? Are you ready, kids? Mikal Bridges played 29 minutes. Josh Hart only played 30 minutes. Brunson played 40. OG Anunoby played 44. Karl Anthony Towns played 39. Off of the bench, they had 4 guys getting double figures. So they had Campaign play 15 minutes, but Campaign was a little bit more effective and a little bit more efficient. Yeah, Deuce McBride played 15. Yeah, I said that. Mitch Robb played 18, and Landry Shamanface played 10. OG Anunoby's minute floor seems to be the safest, right? Because his main goal is to be covering Cade Cunningham. So as long as Cade is out there playing big minutes, so is OG Anunoby. Obviously, the offense runs through Brunson and Scatman, Karl Anthony Towns. On the Detroit side of things, looking at those minutes and those rotations, so they had they went 9 deep, but Ron Holland was one of the 9, and he only played 6 minutes. So it was really an 8-man rotation. Toby played 40 minutes. Tobias Harris was crazy. He was awesome in the first half, MIA in the second half. Tim Hardaway Jr. got the start. He played 28 minutes. Cade played 39. And then you only get 23 from Asar Thompson, who was in a ton of foul trouble. He ended up with 5. Jalen Duren played 25 minutes, not really because of foul trouble, but because of bad basketball trouble. He was terrible. And then Beef Stew played 19. Schroeder played 26, and Malik Beasley 35. So Beasley's essentially the starter, right? Tim Hardaway Jr. starts in name, and then Beasley plays a little bit more minutes. My guess, though, I wonder, especially if Duren gets off to a weird, slow start, we're going to see a little bit more Beef Stew tonight. Weisberg said, dumb so rare question. How long does round 1 last? It's all of round 1. So it's the play-in. It's called phase 1. Is the play-in games, and then the entirety of round 1. And so it's your top 4 scores are taken at the end of that. Jacob said, sad seeing my Pistons not taking advantage of their good play in the first 3 quarters. Yeah, it was a bummer. It was a bummer what happened in the fourth quarter for Detroit fans. But anyways, I think like you could take a shot there on Beef Stew, being like maybe he plays a little bit more minutes. Also, Dennis Schroeder did a really good job in his time out there. I wonder if they lean on him a little bit more. But Jalen Duren would be the one that I'm the most nervous about. Now, because we're talking about, Bus Space, I gave you some love at the top. I finally figured out what you were talking about. I'm a little bit nervous with Duren, but the one thing I would say, especially because you're just trying to shoot for ceiling, right? I don't really know if Beef Stew is going to give you a fantasy point ceiling. So, like, if no one is playing Jalen Duren tonight because they saw what happened in game 1, I don't know, man. It was his first playoff game. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he's okay. Maybe he's okay and bounces back a little bit. And if he's not going to get, I don't know. If he's not going to be highly owned, I just feel like he could still break the slate a little bit. Second game here, Clippers and Nuggets. Same thing. Let's run through some of these box scores because these guys are going to be tired, man. They played an overtime game. So the Nuggets won 112-110 in overtime, right? Let's do the Clippers first. Kawhi played 41 minutes. Harden played 43 minutes. You got 39 from Big Z. You got 37 from Storm and Norman, 31 from Chris Dunn. And then Batum, Derek Jones Jr. both played 24, and then you got 13 and 12 from Simmons and Bogey. My guess here is that we either see 0 Ben Simmons minutes, or like one of Ben Simmons or Bogdan Bogdanovic is going to lose 5 or 6 minutes. That would be my guess. And I think those get attributed to either Batum or Derek Jones Jr. So I think you could take a little bit of a stand being like, I think Batum is going to be a little bit more important for this team moving forward. You guys know I'm a Bogey stan. I love Bogdanovic. He's one of my favorite players. He's getting cooked on defense, man. He's getting cooked on defense, and if that is what he's going to be bringing to the table, Ty Lue is going to pull the switch on him. He's going to be done playing basketball, at least in this series, if he's not going to be able to defend. So the other thing we got to point out, too, is Chris Dunn playing 31 minutes is huge. He's clearly going to be their main guy out there on Jamal Murray to slow him down. And when it's not Chris Dunn, it's Derek Jones Jr., and it's Kawhi Leonard at times. So anyways, okay, that's the Clippers side of things. On Denver side, right, we saw Gordon play 46, Jokic played 46, Jamal played 48, Christian Brown played 45, Russell Westbrook played 34 minutes, MPJ played 26, Peyton Watson played 14, Jalen Pickett played 5. So back to this again. Same thing with Jalen Duren, right? Now, Duren obviously has a better chance of getting back into the court because they need him a little bit more. Michael Porter Jr., those quotes from Nikola Jokic afterwards being like, if you can't get up for this game, you should be playing a different sport or something like that. That makes me nervous that MPJ might not play ever again. But I do believe that if Denver is going to win this series or make any sort of playoff noise, we are going to have to hear from Michael Porter Jr. at some point. So maybe this was a fire that was lit under his ass, and he's like, all of a sudden, he's back for game 2. So I'll say the same thing about MPJ that we said about Jalen Duren, although I feel a little bit safer about Duren. If no one's going to play Porter Jr., because everybody watched that first game, and they said, hey, this dude sucks. He's not going to play any minutes. If he's only going to play 24 minutes, we're cooked. Then I don't know. Maybe you can find an advantage on a night where there's only a 2-game slate. I will say, this kind of feels like one of the lower scoring nights so far of the tournament, of this Sorare NBA tournament, right? We had Saturday and Sunday where you had 4 games. There's a little bit more to choose from. It's going to be tougher on a 2-game slate. But so those are tonight's games. And then let's go over tomorrow's quickly, and then we can look at some of the projections. So tomorrow, you have Bucks and Pacers. I just mentioned Damian Lillard upgraded to questionable. Don't really know what that means. I don't think you could play him. I think I'd still have some serious concern there, but that's me. That's me anyways. You've got the Bucks, who got absolutely smoked in that most recent game. Real ugly stuff from them. Kyle Kuzma, Tony Snellian, right? Got 0-0-0-0-0. Taurean Prince was pretty bad. I think the only real takeaway here is that we might see a little bit more Bobby Portis and a little bit more AJ Green. I think if I was going to take a flyer on any of the Milwaukee Cucks, it would be the 27 minutes of AJ Green, who went 5 for 13, 5 for 11 from the 3. That would be my main take. There from that one. Let's go over to the Pacers side of that box score for some minutes, right? We had Spicy P played 33, Miles Turner 31, Hallie 34, Neesmith 27, and Nembhard 29. I don't think there's too much you can take away from that, because I do think if the game was close, you would have seen Siakam play 37. Hallie played 37, Turner played 36, 35, something like that. I do think it's important to note that Benedict Mathurin is going to be their main guy coming off the bench. He's got 25 minutes, but everybody else is in the teens, okay? Everybody else is Josh getting it up. So Mathurin would be the one that I would lean the heaviest on. You could get to some Jarris Walker if you think they're going to use him to try to defend. I don't know. I don't really love it for tomorrow. And then again, I guess we'll have to wait and see for Dame. But my guess is if Dame is in, that kind of hurts all the other Bucks pieces from a fantasy perspective. It lowers Kuzma's ceiling. It lowers Kevin Porter Jr.'s ceiling. Although, what is Kyle Kuzma's ceiling, Weisberg, hold on. I'll get to that in just a second once we get projections up. So we got 3 games tomorrow, which is actually kind of nice. So the Grizzlies and Thunder are 14.5-point favorites. I imagine Memphis keeps this a little bit closer. 14.5 points is a wild spread for a round 1 playoff game. But I think OKC, or I think Memphis will put up a little bit more of a fight and still ultimately lose, but whatever. And then Timberwolves and Lakers, we got game 2. That's a 10 o'clock start. 5.5-point spread for the Lakers are favored, so it's going to see how they bounce back. Main takeaway from it's tough to take anything away from Memphis and OKC because it was such a blowout, but for Minnesota and the Lakers, it's Naz Reid season, right? Him and McDaniels were the 2 clear value plays that we talked about. We also wrote up on our members page, which, by the way, if you are a YouTube member, on the days we don't have video content, specifically on the weekend I did it, and I'll do it tomorrow, and then I'll do it on Thursday as well. I'm writing up a little something just of my favorite plays for members only. So go check that out. I did Boston Base. It posted at 10 a.m. But anyways, for the Lakers, like Naz Reid, McDaniels, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, those are the main bench pieces, right? Those are the main bench pieces for Minnesota. For the Lakers, it's really hard to get anywhere outside of the starters. Rui, I expect a little bit more from him. Dorian Finney-Smith, is he going to have 2 bad games in a row? And then are we going to see anything from Gabe Vincent? Those are the real takeaways before we look at the projections. But now let's get over to top tier. Shout out our guy, Billy Jackson. Let's go over to top tier projections, and let's do it team by team. So we'll start with tonight. So just tonight's stuff. Let's go to Detroit basketball. We'll start with the away team tonight. And let's just sort by value to see if there's any value. And once again, we're reminded that there's not value this time in the playoffs, right? Tobias Harris here is cap at 27. He basically projects for that. Malik Beasley, same thing. Dennis Schroeder, same thing. You've got Cade Cunningham, projects for like 45. Beef Stew, that projection's not great because his cap has come up a little bit. Let's actually just do it by projection and see if there's anybody that's jumping. I think if I was going to take a chance on anybody here, take a chance on me, is Asar Thompson. Asar Thompson's probably the one that I like the most. If the guy can stay out of foul trouble, he's going to walk himself into some steals and some blocks while covering Brunson. Dennis Schroeder is the other one. Dennis Schroeder with a cap of 24. I do feel like he's going to be leaned on a little bit more heavily here. But some of these caps are just really tough. They're really tough to get to in these spots. Ron Holland, I think getting squeezed out of the rotation is pretty brutal. So it's really, I mean, maybe Tim Hardaway Jr. gets hot. I do like Malik Beasley at 26 is pretty nice. It seems like his minutes are safe. You just need to know, like, is he going to knock down threes? He went 6 for 12 from three in that first game, I think, with 20 points on the dot, 22 points, something like that. So if I was ranking Pistons, obviously Cade's my favorite. Tobias, pretty safe floor. I feel like you could pencil Tobias in for 18 to 22 real life points. Then that like Beasley, Thompson, Schroeder combo with Thompson's cap is the highest. I think he has the highest upside out of all of those guys too, though. But his cap is the highest, so you're definitely taking a shot. But I wonder if people are just box score hunting. They see Asar Thompson. They see what his box score was in game one, that he didn't play a ton of minutes and he fouled a ton, and maybe they're just like lowering their expectation for him. But I do think he's got a ceiling. Allen says Tobias feels low. I mean, man, it was the tale of two halves for Tobias, though, from Strong Island, right? Like, he went out there. I think he scored 20 of his 25 points in the first half, kind of did nothing in the second half. Crystal balling it, I think we see another competitive game. I just think Cade has to assert himself in this one. So the OG Anunoby case makes me nervous because he really did. OG seemed to really step it up defensively in game one on Cade, which is something the Knicks couldn't do the entire regular season, but they showed up in game one. But yeah, with a cap of 27, I think you could do it. I think Tobias is fine. I mean, obviously Cade's 101 there, and then I would rank them Tobias probably in his own. Tobias in his own spot, and then Beasley, Schroeder, then Thompson in that, like, whatever, pick a range. Duren, probably the most upside and the most risk. If that cap was closer to 30, I think I'd be a little bit more excited to roll that back out there. But again, the combination of a cap of 35 plus the recent performance, he just looked straight up lost out there on the defensive end and the offensive end. He was just toast. And if you think they limit his minutes a little bit more, maybe you get to beef stew just for some salary relief. Maybe you have Duren running into foul trouble or just play bad. We get Beef Stew's minutes over like 24, 25, and then all of a sudden we're cooking a little bit. But that's the Detroit side of thing. I think the Knicks are going to be pretty straightforward. The one takeaway, though, or one thing we can't take away is Mikal Bridges' minutes were pretty limited, and I know that might have more to do. And again, maybe people panic a little bit. They look at the box score, saw he didn't play a ton. I think that had more to do with the fact that the Knicks were on a 21-3 run, and or 21-0 run, and when you're doing that, you don't really want to take your guys out, right? You don't want to mess with the flow. But if we look at projection, just straight projections, you got Catman leading the way with a projection of 45. Brunson's projection a little bit lower. It's probably the combo of the Thompson defense and just seeming a little nicked up there, although I would take the over. Josh Hart continues to do Josh Hart stuff. OG Anunoby's cap is 42. That's tough. That's tough to get to, although Anunoby did still take a ton of shots in that game, so I don't know. Maybe he can still get there. Then you got Mikal Bridges. That's probably the spot to attack. Mikal Bridges and Mitchell Robinson both had Mitchell Robinson had decent minutes there. Cap of 22 provides some salary relief. But honestly, like, I can't believe I'm saying this. I don't think Campaign's going to shoot that well again. But if he's going to play 15 minutes with a cap of 17 on a slate where it's just impossible to find any value, like, you could get him to 20 so rare points. Then if Campaign gets you to 20 so rare points with the cap of 17, what that allows you to do elsewhere with your roster, I think, is pretty solid. 3DK saying I'm playing Jokic, Brunson, Gordon, Murray, Batum. I see Weisberg. Let me back to your question. You said pick 3 out of Beasley, Powell, DJJ to buy. I think it's everybody but DJJ. Everybody else has upside. Everybody else has upside. Yeah, the first 3. No. I would take Tobias over Derrick Jones Jr. for sure. I actually don't think that's close. Like, Derrick Jones Jr. is just going to be out there. He's not going to do anything. He's going to play defense. Anyway, so that's Detroit, New York. I don't think you should play Landry Shamet. His cap's too high. Same thing with Deuce McBride. His cap's 28. Deuce McBride might be useful in round 2 if he just continues to play like 8 minutes a game and his cap comes all the way down. But this just does not seem to be the matchup for him. Let's do tonight now. Let's do the Clippers first. Again, Clippers favored is kind of surprising, huh? A little surprising. All right, Boston Base just had 4 slices of pizza. Spicy pulled pork on a white pizza with scallions and butternut. Okay, wow. The butternut squash was aggressive, but okay. All right, live your life, bro. Live your life. Happy Patriots Day. All right, Harden with the highest cap and highest projection here. Cap of 47, projection of 45. The Claw, cap of 47, projection of 43.5. Zubac here. One thing I want to note on Big Z, I think Zubac is going to be somebody that I wonder if Ty Lue is like, hey, we can't play Ben Simmons really. We don't have anybody to cover Jokic. Maybe we just match Zubac's minutes with Jokic. So he played 39 of like, what is it, 40, 50 something of the fifth, whatever the, why can't 48 plus 553? So he played like 39 of the 53 minutes. I wonder if today he's on pace to play for 39 of the 48 minutes, and they just basically sub Zubac in every time Jokic subs in. And if that's the case, I think I like his upside the most out of all of those guys, of those top three, only because, and Harden 101, then Zubac. I'm going to put Kawhi third, even though Kawhi, like maybe there's a case to be made that Kawhi could bounce back and just like be a little bit more aggressive after losing game one. I'm a little nervous though. They just played Saturday afternoon. They have one day off after playing 50 whatever minutes we decided it was, 53 minutes. That makes me a little nervous. That like, makes me a little bit nervous. But I like Zubac. Chris Dunn is probably the only actual good value play, and I know he projects for only 21.8. Give me the over of that. I think we see Chris Dunn hit 30 so rare points tonight. Again, if his minutes were north of 30 in that game, you take away overtime, he's probably playing like 28. He's clearly their best defender out there. On like on the guard position, anyways. You're going to throw him on Jokic. I mean, on Jokic, on Jamal. So I really do like Chris Dunn. I think that's my favorite one. To Weisberg's point earlier, Derek Jones Jr. with the cap of 16. That's fine. I actually think Batum is my favorite. I think Batum is going to see a little bit of a minutes boost tonight. Again, I just don't see Ben Simmons and Bogdanovich doing too much. That's 25 minutes that I think gets shrunk down to like 15. I think they probably take 10 to 12 or 8 to 10 minutes away from those two combined. And if that's the case, I think they either go to Derek Jones Jr. or Nicholas Batum. I think I would lean the Batum side of things. I do. I think if you need some real value, cap of 11, go ahead, let it rip. And I know it feels gross, but Ben Simmons is probably there too. I just said that I think they're going to take his minutes away, but he doesn't have to do too much to surpass his cap of 9. And if that unlocks some other roster constructions for you, I think you let it rip. But I think my big fade here would be Bogdanovich. Norman Powell, like, listen, if you have Norman, you got to play him. He's got a cap of 26 and a projection of 30. This is obviously my favorite place to attack. I think even though the total is a little less than what we see for Detroit and New York, Denver doesn't really play a ton of defense. Maybe they do a little bit better job in the playoffs, but they don't play a ton of defense. And the Clippers caps are all pretty nice outside of their top three. That I those are the spots I would want to attack. Powell, Dunn, Jones Jr., Batum, and then Ben Simmons way down there. All right, last game of the night, the Nuggets. Let's take a look at Denver. I mean, the last team of the night. Denver, and then we'll cover tomorrow's quickly. So Jokic, sure. Jamal Murray, I mean, you wish that cap was down a little bit, but I do think if you needed to pick a Jamal Murray night, I feel like it might be tonight. Again, I thought he got some pretty good looks. I know he had tough defensive Dunn, Jones Jr., and some Kawhi, but I thought his looks were good. He just didn't shoot well. Aaron Gordon, though, cap of 29, projection of 31. You know he's going to play massive minutes. He's going to be the only other rebounder outside of Joker. He's going to be pretty important, especially if Michael Porter Jr.'s minutes are getting squeezed. Christian Brown, we know, is going to be out there for a lot, but his cap has been pretty high from some of those big numbers he put up right before the end of the regular season. Michael Porter Jr. and Russell Westbrook are the two linchpins for tonight. If you think Michael Porter Jr.'s minutes are toast, then Russell Westbrook's cap is beautiful. Because if MPJ is for sure toast, he's only going to play 25 minutes again, maybe even less. Russ is going to play 30 plus. And then Russ with 30 plus minutes, like he's just a psycho out there, right? But if Michael Porter Jr. gets his minutes back, then he's a fine play at a cap of 33. It also means Russ is a pretty bad play at a cap of 20. I wouldn't say bad play, but not a great play, cap of 27. Don't think he can get to Peyton Watson. Don't think he can really get to Jalen Pickett or Julian Strother, who saw a DNP. So I would focus this. I'd rank them as like my favorite plays here tonight. Jokic, Gordon, then Murray. Those are like based on like value, right? And then I do think you have to just take a stand. I don't think you can play both Russ and Michael Porter Jr. I think you pick one and not the other. I think so. Taylor's in the chat saying I would bet MPJ gets every opportunity tonight. Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said in the chat too. Like the Denver's ceiling is so reliant on all of their starters playing well, and like maybe they can get past the first round with a subpar Michael Porter Jr. performance, but they can't make it to the Western Conference Finals without Michael Porter Jr. being a main contributor. Because I'm sorry, you can't play Russ 34 minutes. You can't have Russ taking 17 shots and like assume to win a playoff series. If that happens again tonight, if we have the same run out of minutes that we saw in game one, the same type of performance from Michael Porter Jr. in game one, the Clippers will win. The Clippers will win tonight. Yeah, Campaign is fine. Campaign's my favorite Nick bench guy. Super Carl said about 4 reasonable lineups that can be made tonight. Just got to pick the right one. That's true, Super Carl. Also, Super Carl, saw you're up on the leaderboard, baby. Alan says Nuggets bench minutes or anything goes. Literally just going to play the guys who are playing good outside of. Yeah, there's no guys who are playing good outside of them, though. Unless you just mean, yeah, I mean, you can't play Watson, Pickett, or Strother. Watson's cap is too high for his role now. Like his role is going to come in to play 15 minutes and just play aggressive defense. That's it. That's all it's going to be. Pickett's not going to get enough run unless like Russ shoots somebody, you know? So again, I think the biggest call is taking your stand on Michael Porter Jr. or Russell Westbrook. I think I'm team MPJ tonight because I stand strong that Denver needs Michael Porter Jr. to have an actual shot at getting through a couple of rounds of playoffs. So fire up your MPJ. So that's tonight. That's tonight. Favorite value tonight. We're looking at the guys on the Clippers. I think the Clippers bench provides value. Campaign. Detroit, I think it's tough because all their caps are pretty high, but I do like Schroeder, Beasley. I like Tobias Harris. I like Asar Thompson to have a bounce back spot. I just don't think this is the matchup for him, Alan. I think like if you I just like he's too young and inexperienced to then be going up against guys like Chris Dunn and Derrick Jones Jr. and Kawhi. Like I don't love this matchup for Pickett. I think he only we were going over the minutes. I think he only got like 12 minutes. Is that right? Let me go back to that. I can go back and double check here what those minutes were in that game, right? So we said the bench minutes for Denver were Watson played 14, Pickett played 5, and Russ played 34. So I think it's tough. I think it's tough to get there. Yeah, DJP. I think that's fine. I think that's fine. All right, let's go to tomorrow night now. Let's go to tomorrow night. So we got 3 games tomorrow, right? 3 games to sift through tomorrow. That's 6 teams. So tomorrow you get a better shot at getting there points wise. Let's do Bucks Pacers first. Again, hard to analyze Milwaukee if Dame is back. Because everybody's cap's going to be so funky, man. Everybody's cap is going to be so funky. Oh, wait, why are they not sorted in here? Oh my God. All right, this isn't helpful. So you know what? We're not going to break this down too much. I don't know why it's not pulling out there, but that's a pause. God, that's so frustrating why the team names don't load. Let's just talk about Milwaukee broadly here. If like Dame is back, right? Dame's cap. Let's look at Dame's cap. Lillard's cap here is 41. So at 41, you could probably get away with it, actually. I thought it was going to be a little bit higher. But again, I imagine he's not full go. Like, I don't think he's going to be playing 38 minutes. But what that does is it just nukes so many other guys, right? Like Kevin Porter Jr.'s cap is going to be 32. That's going to be too high if Dame's back. Even somebody like AJ Green, who his cap is 17. I mean, you can still play it, but that hurts him a little bit. Kuzma's cap is 24, which, again, if he's going to throw out negative numbers, it's going to be impossible. But Giannis is probably the only. I think I would rank them: Giannis, Bobby Portis, and then AJ Green. And then if Dame's not back, you can get to Porter Jr. again. For the Indiana side of things, I think you want to try to stay away from their bench guys because a lot of those caps have been inflated a little bit. Like Mathurin is at 26 is probably the only one that I really trust. The one thing you could do, though, if you think Dame is not going to play and if you think the Pacers just fucking give it to him again, you could go to somebody like a Yaris Walker, who his cap's 24 too. What about Obi Toppin? Obi Toppin's cap is 23, but maybe you take shots on those guys if you think it's going to be a blowout. I think it'll be a little bit closer, this one, but again, hard to, if you're a member, I'll put some thoughts into the members only post tomorrow. But yeah, anyways, that's it for that game. Minnesota, quickly, let's just look at McDaniel's cap because these are going to be the two keys here. Jaden McDaniel's cap at 19. I mean, that's just a cheat code. Like, even if he doesn't shoot perfection from 3-point land, like that, That's such an advantage to have McDaniels at that cap. And then Naz Reid here, only a cap of 23. Again, those bigs are going to be like, those bigs off the bench are so important for that team. Alexander Walker, the only other bench guy you can play who's got a cap of 24. So that's going to provide some pretty good value tomorrow. The Lakers, man, I think like Dorian Finney-Smith's cap of 23 is interesting, and Gabe Vincent's cap is 14. I think you can get to both of those guys, but I don't really love it. Yeah, Windy City. We already talked about Derek Jones Jr. You can do that if you want. I think that's fine. His cap's low enough. Norman Powell or Duran? I'd do Norman Powell. Duran, listen, Alan, Duran's got higher upside here. I think there's just real concern that this is a terrible series for him. I'm nervous that he's just going to get played off the court again. Yeah, Rui's low too. I know all those Lakers are low, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. Go to weekly. Will it sort by, if I do that, will it sort by weekly? Yeah. Well, can I sort by team here? Hell yeah. Let's we don't need to do the Milwaukee Indiana game though, but if we do Lakers, there we go. Thank you, Zeely. The projections just aren't going to be right since it's including a couple of games, right? That's like 5 games, so that's not helpful. But yeah, Rui's cap at 20 is fine. I like Gabe a little bit at 14. Jackson Hayes, I think, is going to be unplayable. That's really it. Minnesota, we already covered. Let's do that last game tomorrow, which is the other early game, and it's Grizzlies and dude, man, it's just too hard. I don't even know where to go here with Memphis and OKC. Jaren Jackson Jr.'s cap is 35, which is nice. I do think Scottie Pippen Jr. having a cap of only 24 is something you can get to there. That can provide some value tomorrow. John Conchar saw some minutes in that game. But again, I think people might go to Marvin Bagley. If you think this is going to be another disgusting game, Marvin Bagley's cap is only 8, so I think that's fine. But again, I don't really like it, man. The Memphis OKC stuff is really hard to project. And then the OKC caps are all like pretty, not PLC. OKC are all pretty strong here, right? So you got SGA at 53, J-Dub at 38. I mean, Chet continues. Like we saw Chet put up 19 and 10 in 19 minutes, I think it was. So you can definitely go back to Chet. Hartenstein clearly back in playoff form. He looked awesome in that first game. Looks like he's going to have a real advantage against that Memphis team. Dort's cap at 24, don't really love. Aaron Wiggins' cap is too high. You know what I mean? So it's just really, really hard. Yeah, the Kennard thing, man, is really out of the rotation. He's out of the rotation. It's too tough. And, dude, Gabe is so bad, man. It is. It's tough. It's tough. Yeah, it's too late, Taylor. I would just hold him now. It's too late. It's too late to apologize. What you guys have any questions? Any like 2v2s? Anything you're having a tough time deciding by? We can like hang for another 8 minutes. Just a reminder too, we've got Hoop Sense. Hoop Sense is going to be live on the Count the Dings YouTube channel at 5:30 if you want to come hang and talk hoops before our night games. I think we're going to fire up. I'm definitely going to fire up playback for Denver and Clippers tonight. So if you want to come hang for a little late night hoop action, we can do that together. But that's kind of it on my end. I think for tonight, it's guessing right on Denver's minutes. It's guessing right on Duran. And then it's playing the right Clipper value. Yeah, I did a little bit of that too, Taylor. But I think it's picking the right Clipper value tonight. I really do think one of Derek Jones Jr. or Nicholas Batum is like the linchpin. I kind of think Batum is the guy. If someone, this is going to be the take. Since there's only 2 games tonight, I really do think it's going to be hard to have like a top 4 score tonight. You know what I mean? Throughout the entire playoff run, because you're only picking from 4 teams. If Batum gets to 30 so rare points tonight, then I do think we'll have somebody do it. Somebody will get there. Somebody will have a top 4 score tonight. Top picks for MVP tonight. Yeah, Nikola Jokic, Jordan. I'd rank him Jokic, Cade. No. Yeah, Jokic, Cade, Harden, Cat, Brunson. Those would be my top 5. Shout out, no dunks. Yeah, Derek Jones Jr., though, Scorpio God, could definitely be him. Really, we're just kind of throwing darts right now. I think Dennis Schroeder will be heard from at some point. Dennis the Menace, maybe we get a little bit of him. Yeah, Dunn. Yeah, I mentioned Dunn. I mentioned Dunn earlier. I think he's great because what's his cap is 20, I think, and his minutes are pretty secure as long as he stays out of foul trouble. The problem with Dunn is he's going to only take like 5 shots the entire game. So you need him to collect some stocks. You need some steals, some blocks. You need something like you need like an 8-5-4-2-2 line from Chris Dunn. But he can do it. He can do it. All right, Allen's running out. Jokic, Duran, Bridges, Toby, AG. Yeah. I listen, man. Allen, if you're going straight upside, it's probably Duran. Because if Duran's minutes are right and he rebounds a little bit from what we saw in game 1, he's got a higher upside than Norm right now, who's like a clear 4th option behind Harden, Kawhi, and Zubac. So you basically need him to go kind of what Derek White did. You need him to go like 7 for 12 from 3. Yeah, Aaron Gordon's great, DJP. And Super Carl, you're right. Jokic, and Jokic. Those are the top 5 plays tonight for MVP. I do think it's going to be hard to hit a high score tonight without Jokic. Jokic is probably going to go for 80. Ben, dude, even if Zubac gets into foul trouble, I think they go to Batum. I'm telling you, I think Batum's going to get more minutes than that tonight. I think I would take Norman Powell over Tobias Harris, but that's pretty close. But I think I would go Norman. They're about the same. Well, so yeah, because they're about the same. I think they project for almost the same. I mean, I wouldn't say he's sneaky. I think Beasley's a good play. I think Beasley's a really good play, though. I think Beasley's a good play. Yeah. Yeah, from Detroit, anyways. Rank Derek Jones Jr., Batum, and Payne. I think in the order you have them. Actually, you should probably rank Payne ahead of Batum. I'm real bullish on Batum. I might end up looking like an idiot. I might look like an idiot, but I think I would rank them. I kind of think Batum's going to be the highest scoring one. I think it's going to be the highest scoring one, but I would rank them Derek Jones Jr., Batum. I'd throw Campaign in last there. Who from the 3 then? I'd rank them Aaron Gordon, Norman Powell, Tobias Harris. And I do, man. I don't think I'm going to have time though, Boston Base. I got too many things going on. Right after this, I got to go prep for the show at 5:30. And then I got to make some dins, some crispy Brussels sprout gnocchi. And then we got to do the late game, baby. And then we're back at it again tomorrow. I forgot Beasley, brother. Who are the 3? So who are the 3 okay, so DJP, let me go over your comments here. Are we playing AG, Harris, Norman Powell, Beasley, sneaky play? So who from the 3? I don't know. You gave me 4, bro. I guess I'd rank them Aaron Gordon, Norman Powell, Malik Beasley, Tobias Harris. Man, DJP undefeated, comes in a little late, asks all the questions we already covered, doesn't take any accountability for him being late. Unreal, DJP. Nothing but love. Let's see. Which NBA player is most likely to be the new Pope? Great question. That's a great question. Let's see. How about Josh Hart? Maybe? Yeah, I think Tim Hardaway Jr. is fine, Al Horn. Do you think it's possible to get a good score with a cap of 0 and 4 good play? I mean, I guess it depends what the other 4 are. Right? Like, if this is allowing you to get, like, I think we need an example, right? Like, who scores more points, Karl Anthony Towns or Chris Dunn and Campaign? Right? If you think it's Karl Anthony Towns, and then you go do it. Oh, this is the right answer. Jonathan Isaac. No, I know. I'm just messing. You know I'm just messing with you. KCP's a good call. We got Brunson, Payne, Jones, or Cat Jones Jr. What the fuck? All right, so you're asking Brunson and Batum, or no, you're asking Jesus Brunson and Payne or Cat and Batum. Is that what you're saying? I would do Cat and Batum. Baseball's been okay. Oh, Malik Monk for the Pope. That's great. I've been doing really well in the dailies. I think I've had 2 of the first 7 game weeks. I think I've had 2 really solid performances in like limited champion where I've won like a little bit of cash. I've had a 1st in the daily, a 3rd in the daily, and a 6th in the daily, which is nice, but I don't know. But Malik Monk for the Pope is great. Yeah, I love this strategy. I do think there's something there. I think there's something there. Like if you can fit a Jokic and somebody in, like I think there is. Yeah, you got to think about how unique the lineup construction would be. I wonder if by the end of this Knicks Pistons series, if Cade's cap comes down a little bit, that could be fun. Oh, Michael Gilchrist. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like that. Good stuff. Good work, everybody. This is really solid stuff. Solid stuff for the next NBA Pope, the young Pope. All right, what else we got? Yeah, no, somebody said KCP right here. There it is right there. Nice try. Nice try, Matty Harrison. Need you to have a better second half of the game, better fourth quarter. Detroit basketball. All right, there we go. There we go. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's all love. It's all love. All right, dudes. So I mentioned this earlier. If you are a member, I'll be doing write-ups on the days we don't have content. So the days we don't have content, I'll do some write-ups there. And then we'll do another one of these on Wednesday for the Wednesday-Thursday slate and another one on Friday for the Friday-Saturday-Sunday slate. Yeah, I actually watched the press conference live. Yeah, man. I joked that this whole 2025 Dallas Mavericks season kind of feels like a Black Mirror episode right now. You know what I mean? Like, what are you guys doing? Like, what are you doing? Why are you saying the stuff that you're saying? He was surprised. He's like, yeah, I knew the fans would be like a little upset that we traded Luka, but not this upset. It's just like, it's just dumb shit, man. I honestly feel bad for them. I feel bad. I feel bad for the fans. Honestly, it's almost getting to the point where I feel bad for Nico. Like, it feels like bullying now. Like, we're punching down. This guy's an idiot. Although when we do our Hoop Sense show at 5:30, I'm sure Trey will defend it. He seems to be pro what they're doing over there, but I don't know. To the Lakers bounce back, you'll have to tune in tomorrow to the NBA bit where I'll share that take, Boss of Base. That's a tomorrow take. Today, I think the Clippers take game 2. I think the Clippers take game 2, and I think the Knicks take game 2. I'm rooting for Detroit and I'm rooting for Denver, but I think both of the teams I'm rooting for are going to lose. All right, you would ride if Cade is traded for AD. Yeah, it's insane, man. And just like what you got back was not enough. Al Horsey got Jokic, Harden, Cat, AG, Cap, 0 is the best I could come up with. Not worth it. Yeah. I mean, Jokic, Harden, Cat, AG, that's actually not bad. Because, right, if Jokic puts up, if you get 80 out of Jokic, and then you need 60 out of Harden and Cat, right? That's 200. Right? Is that 200? No. 80, 60. Yeah, 200. And then you get 40. Then they say, let's give Gordon a ceiling. Let's 50 out of Gordon. Is 250 enough? I haven't been paying enough attention like for high scores. But if you get to the only problem I could see you could run into there is if you would need the other role players not to crush. Because you that needs to be the only path to 250. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I actually don't hate that. Because, like, if you otherwise, let's take out Cat and you're throwing in, again, like Chris Dunn. And can Chris Dunn, what's more likely to get to 60? Chris Dunn and Derrick Jones Jr. or Cat? Jokic, Harden, Cat, Jones Jr., Batum. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I got thoughts. All right, dogs. We're going to call it there. 42 minutes of fury. So check in tomorrow, NBA bit at 9, and then we'll fire up the old Membies chat on the YouTube community page for some other thoughts. Come hang out with us on Playback tonight for this. I don't know if we're doing the first game. I'm definitely doing the second game. I'm not doing Knicks Pistons tonight, but I'm doing the second game. Yeah, a lot of minutes in usage. You got to fade that way. Yeah, it's probably not a good idea. You know, it's probably not a good idea. And then if you want to come hang out for Count the Dings on the Count the Dings YouTube channel, 5:30, we're doing Hoop Sense. And then, go join the Splash Sports contest. That link is pinned into the chat. We'll see you guys tomorrow or Wednesday or whenever we do. Good luck. Good luck with the chase.